Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Washburn, hashtag the Dean of Mortgages. Today, a dinosaur is going to teach you what you need to know about collections on your credit report. One of the most important things for you to keep track of when it comes to your long-term financial success is your credit report. One question I get all the time is about collections. John, I have some collections on my credit report. Should I pay them off? I've heard that if I pay my collections down, my score will actually decrease. What's the deal here? Well, here's what I kind of want you to understand first and foremost. It's almost always better to pay off your collections in the long run because having collections on your credit report is kind of like running a race with ankle weights on. Can this dinosaur still run while carrying this horrific weight around its neck? Yes! But he will never be able to run as fast as he could without the weight, as long as that collection is still weighing him down. All right, so long term, you almost always want to get your collections off. However, a lot of times in the short term, paying off a collection can actually decrease your credit score. So let's talk about exactly what I mean by that. All right, there are a couple questions that you should always ask whenever you find out that you have a collection on your credit report. The first and most important one to ask yourself is this: is it real? I was doing a loan for my mom a couple of years ago. All right, my mom has pristine credit. You know, she's got 30, 40 years. I won't say exactly how long. I don't want to divulge her age. But she's got several years of on-time credit, on-time payments to every single type of account that you could imagine. Well, I pulled her credit and her score was a lot lower than we were expecting. And I said, Mom, it looks like 2 months ago, a $23 medical collection was reported to your credit report. She said, what? That can't be. I paid all my medical bills. Let me check on this. I said, yeah, Mom, you're going to want to check on this. Don't pay it off. If it's not real, see if they will take it completely off of your credit report. Well, she made a couple phone calls. Obviously, it was fraudulent. We got that taken off, and I kid you not, a week later, her credit score jumped 130 points. Now, you might say, Jonathan, this seems like a scam that a woman with great credit history can have one $23 collection lower her score by 130 points, and I would say, yes, you're right. In so many ways, I feel like the credit score is a scam, but it is a scam that kind of runs our lives if you want to ever be able to buy things. So you kind of have to play that game correctly in order to make sure that you can still buy the things that you want and that you're not killed with interest rates and different sort of things, all right? So, is that collection real? If it's not, getting it taken off, not paid, but getting it completely taken off can dramatically improve your credit score. All right, second question to ask yourself after you know that it's real is what type of collection is it? Because there's two types of collections that are going to affect your score differently than all other types. All right, first of all, we have medical collections. All right, medical collections are treated differently from all other collections because here's why. If you get a car that's too expensive that you can't make payments on, and then you get behind and that car goes to collection or whatever, that is pretty emblematic probably that you're not making good financial decisions. However, if you get sick and miss work and pile up some medical bills, you know, medical bills do not equal somebody that's making bad financial decisions, right? You can't help it if you get sick. You can't help it if you need a surgery. So almost all lenders and creditors, they're going to see the medical collections. They are going to hurt your credit, as you saw with my mom, but they're not going to count them as much when they're looking at the whole loan application. For instance, from a mortgage perspective, I can completely ignore medical bills. Completely ignore them. They still hurt your credit score, but we don't have to worry about them at all. Second type of really important collection is a student loan. If you have a student loan that's in collections, you're pretty much screwed. All right, you probably won't be able to do much of anything, especially if they're permanently assigned to the government. So the best practice, if you have student loans in collections, is something that's tough for a lot of us these days, right? But if you have student loans in collections, you would probably want to address those before you address anything else. Do everything you can to get them out of collections, get on a payment plan, and get back up to date on those. All right, finally, looking at your collections, all right, two things to consider: recency and age. All right, recency and age. Let's give you two examples. let's say that you missed like a random electric bill payment at an apartment you lived at in 2014. All right, and so back in 2015, the electric company reported a $240 collection, and that has been on your account for the last 6 years. All right, that is weighing down your score just like the donut on our dinosaur friend here, but that's so old and it hasn't been reported for so long, it's kind of at the bottom of the line on your credit report. So if you were actually to go in right now and pay that today, that's going to jump that credit, that collection all the way back up to the top. You might seriously see your score decrease by like 50 or 60 points next month. Now, after 6 months, once that collection is off and that bill is marked as paid, your score will go back up. But since that collection was so old and now you just put new information on it, your score could literally drop 40, 50, 60 points. I've seen it happen. All right, let's give another scenario. Let's say you had like a credit card at Lowe's and you had this credit card for 10 years. You never missed a payment. You were on time all the time. And then near the end of last year, before Thanksgiving, you're like, I don't need this anymore. You pay it off and you're just like, I'm not gonna use this. You paid it off, you thought you paid it all off, but actually you paid it all off and then they hit you with a little interest at the end, right? Oh, you still owe us $10. Well, let's say you missed a $10 payment in November, you missed a $10 payment in December, you missed a $10 payment in January, and now Lowe's decides, well, we're closing out your card and we are sending this to the collections, right? Now you have a $10 collection to Lowe's on your credit report that just reported in February. This is a brand new report. So paying it off is not going to hurt you as much as it would to pay off that 6-year-old collection, but now something different might happen. Because if you say, oh, I need to pay this off, and you pay that off, and they close that account, now you had 10 years of good credit history that was just closed, and that just goes away. And let's say the only other credit card you have is a credit card at Home Depot that you opened up in November, right? So now you go from having 2 credit cards with a total history average of more than 5 years to only 1 credit card that you have for 4 months. Now, paying off that collection, getting that closed out, could also drop your credit score dramatically, and it could drop it in such a way that it's actually pretty hard to get your score back up over the next couple of years. All right, so the best practice in that instance would be to call up Lowe's and say, hey, look, I'm so sorry. Can we keep this account open? I'll pay you back the collection. I'll pay you back the late fees. I thought I had it all paid down. I'm sorry. Let's keep this account open so that closing out this nice, long history credit card doesn't hurt your score. All right, so big picture, you always want to find out, what is my main goal and how much time do I have? If your main goal is to buy a house next month, it might actually be a bad idea to pay off that collection, because that could send your score plummeting for the next few months until we have time to get that back up. It's almost always a good idea to pay off your collections if and when you can, but you just need to understand that paying it off right now could actually negatively affect you right now. Finally, always make sure, check to see that collection is legit, because if it's not, we got to get your score up some other way. Thank you so much. This is Jonathan Washburn, #the Dean of Mortgages. School is out.